Hi, this is Karen from the Huntley Library, and today on 12 Days of Craftin', we're going to be making wet felted cat toys. Here's what we're going to be using to make our felted cat toys. Some kind of little plastic ball will work really well. It can be jingly or non-jingly. You're going to need a nylon stocking to help you felt it, some kind of wool roving in whatever colors you would like to have. And you can pick this up from craft stores usually, or if you have done needle felting before, you will probably have extra. Yarn stores might also have it. So wool roving, and you're going to need a little bit of dish soap and access to hot water. And that is all you're going to need. These don't take a whole lot of time to make, so if you're somebody who is impatient with crafts, this is a good one to try. Your pet cat will appreciate it. My coworker, her cat, she discovered, really likes little felted things or things made out of yarn. And if you know that your cat also likes to play with yarn, then this might be a good toy for them. I don't have pet cats, but I do have pet rabbits, and I'm hoping that they'll like the felted balls better than just the plain plastic balls. I haven't been able to get them to play with these very much at all, but hopefully this one. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is spread out your roving to cover the ball. And you can pull it apart a little bit and spread it out like this. I actually want a white base for my ball covering. And I'm gonna try and be creative and do like polka dots maybe, or just little splashes of color, but have it be mostly white, so we'll see how that works out. You want to make sure that you have enough to cover the entire ball, because if you don't, then there's going to be little spots that show through. So that looks like it's going to be okay. And then for my spots of color, I'm just going to put them on like this and not be too specific about where they end up. Right now it looks huge, but once it's felted, it's going to be much smaller, because all of these fibers are going to get compressed and start sticking together. And I have a little bit of orange here too that I'm going to stick on there. You don't need a huge amount of the roving for this, and they usually sell it in kind of smallish packets. So if you don't think you're going to use roving for anything else, then just get a little pieces. This will be nice and colorful. I don't know if the rabbits or our kitty friends will appreciate the colorful, but I do. Okay, so I'm just sort of loosely forming a ball around this. The next part, we're going to have to get this a little bit wet with hot water, and we're going to add just a dot of our dish soap. And the hot water, the combination of the hot water and the friction from the nylon that we're going to stick this in and the dish soap is what brings our rather sizable ball of felt down to something that's more like this. So we're going to step over to the sink and get this wet. So here we are at the sink, and I'm hoping you can hear me over the water once I turn that on. When I did this before with my practice one, I thought it was a little bit easier to get the ball wet a little bit before we stuff it in the stocking, just because it was more manageable and I could see that the felt was covering the entire ball, whereas if you just stuff it in the stocking right away, it's hard to tell if it is in fact covering all of the areas. So we're going to switch on the water, and it's already warmed up from before, so I'm just going to get this a little bit wet. It doesn't have to be totally soaked, although if it is, that's not a problem, because you are going to be rolling this around for about 10 minutes, and in that time it's going to dry out pretty well. Okay. And you can either add your dot of dishwashing soap before you get it wet, or right after. And you really only need just a tiny bit. It's going to get very, very foamy. So I'll start rolling it around in my hands. Just to distribute the soap a little bit. And then we're going to, I just put it right in the end of the stocking, and you're gonna roll it around in your hands like this for 10 minutes. So this is your aerobic hand workout for today. Just keep doing this 10 minutes. You can check after about 5 minutes and see how it's going. The felting that this does works pretty well, and it might start to stick to the nylon, so you can open it up and take it out and unstick it if that happens to you, and then put it back in and keep going, unless it's already looking like it's pretty well felted. So I'm not going to make you watch me do this for 10 minutes. We'll all do this, and then we'll check out what it looks like in a little while. So we'll be back soon. It's been about 5 minutes that I've been felting this, so I'm going to check on it. You can see that it's sticking a little bit to the nylon, so I can unstick that. But the good thing is all of my ball is covered, and this is felting up pretty well, so I want to stick it back in there and keep going. Mine's still pretty wet and still pretty sudsy, so if yours is in the same shape here, then just keep going. If yours feels like it's getting too dry, you can add a little bit more water. Probably won't need any more soap, but if you think it does need soap, then add a little bit more. Another thing that you can add to these, like before you start this whole process, if you want them to have a little extra kick, is some catnip. You can just stick that inside the ball before you put the felt on and do this felting process. In that case, I would recommend using an unscented soap so that the catnip smell comes through. I'm using this Dawn, and it actually smells pretty strongly. You can, once these are felted, you can wash them, you can rinse them off so that there's less of that soapy residue there. And your cat or your rabbit, I'm hoping rabbit, will appreciate that. So keep felting, y'all. We'll come back when this is finished. Okay, 10 minutes. Let's take it out and see what we've got. Not sticking too badly. This one actually worked better than the one I did previously. That one, I didn't have enough felt around the ball, and I stuck it in the nylon and couldn't see where the spaces were. So this is definitely covered better, and the felting is tighter, and yeah, I like it a whole lot better than the one I made previously, so hooray. It's still pretty sudsy, so I am going to rinse it off a little bit here. Get some of that soap out. Rinse my nylon off too. Okay. I'm using hot water again. I'll just make the felt tighter. Okay, and then if it's wet, you can squeeze the excess water out, and then you can blot it with I still have some suds. You can blot it with a towel too, and that will help dry it out. Okay, no suds. So I'm going to blot that, and then we'll call it complete. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you had fun making felted cat toys, and that your kitty friends or rabbit friends enjoy playing with them. Join me again for 12 Days of Crafting. We have more crafts to do and more fun and exciting things on our website for you to try, www.huntleylibrary.org. See you next time.